Hello, and thank you for joining us on another adventure as we learn about African clawed frog care. Tonight's video, we will be discussing safe chemical treatments. I know and understand that there may be people who would rather keep their tanks natural and don't want to bother with chemicals. However, there may be a time when a quick remedy is needed in a pinch. It's always best to know what is safe before you need it than waiting until you do. Let's start with water conditioners. Also, please note that I will only mention items I've used. Amqual Plus from the Seachem Company. I use this as my all-the-time water conditioner. I use this for my weekly water changes, when I need to treat some water to freeze to cool my tank in the summer months, when the ammonia is a little high, and even when I introduce a new frog to my brood. Amqual Plus keeps the ammonia low in my tank as it detoxifies 2.0 parts per million of ammonia for every directed use. Amqual Plus is good for fresh and saltwater tanks. It detoxifies nitrate, nitrite, ammonia, chlorine, and chloramines. Haha, my spell check tried to change that to clementines. Prime from the Seachem Company. I normally use this when I have an event going on in my tank, like an ammonia spike, a sick frog. If a frog jumps out of a net or the tank and gets really dirty, I will use Prime in the rinse water, sitting in a small deep tub, and just let the frog rest in the water with some stress guard as well. Other times, I will use Prime in the event I would ever need to empty my tank and restart, which has not happened in a long time, and good thing, because emptying and refilling a 75-gallon tank is a lot of work. I don't know how others with larger tanks do it, but I know I'm tired by the time I'm done. I have only had to do this 3 times since I've owned frogs. Luckily, the first 2 was with a 29-gallon tank. Prime can be used for fresh or saltwater aquariums, and it too detoxifies nitrate, nitrite, ammonia, chlorine, and chloramines. Neutral Regulator from the Seachem Company. If your tank situation is anything like mine, then I'm sure your pH is usually low. Neutral Regulator adjusts the pH to 7.0. This happens gradually, as one dose will not change it immediately, which is great because extremely fast water parameter changes can stress your frog out and cause it to get sick. As with all these things, it's important to read the containers before you buy to determine if it is the right fit for you. Never allow someone to suggest a dosage of any chemical into your tank. Everyone's situation is different. Just ensure that you're using the dosages per the packaging instructions. Skin slime helpers. Novaqua Plus from the Seachem Company. Novaqua Plus is great and safe for daily tank use as long as it is used as directed. It helps by providing a slime coat on your frogs to prevent infection. It's non-toxic, but not meant for human or domesticated animal consumption. It removes toxic metals, and like other water conditioners, it also removes chloramine and chlorine. Stress Guard from the Seachem Company. Stress Guard is a special tool in my frog cabinet. It not only reduces stress, it has antiseptic properties, assists with the healing process of wounds, provides a slime coat, assists in protecting the skin from ammonia burn as long as the exposure is not excessive, reduces the likelihood of primary and secondary infection, and plays well with other medication except those that are copper-based. Stress Guard is safe to use daily, and if needed, doses can be doubled. My frog Leafy was sick when she was just growing out of the froglet stage. I quarantined her, and she jumped out of the tank while we were sleeping. I woke up the next morning and she was on the dining room carpet. She ended up having a bruise on the right side of her chest. I tried Stress Guard and the bruise was gone in about 3 days. Water clarifiers. Clarity from the Seachem Company is the kind that I normally use. When I first started owning frogs, my tank would get really cloudy because I did not yet understand how the nitrogen cycle worked. I would use Clarity to help with the process of clearing the bacterial bloom. I would have to deal with this every time I did a filter media change because I would change all the parts of the media at the same time. As long as you follow the instructions and have a mechanical filter with carbon and floss, it will work. Just understand that it'll look worse before it looks better. In addition to that, less is more with this chemical. If you try to use more than what the dosage recommendation is, you can exacerbate the bacterial bloom. Bacteria helpers and fighters. Stability from the Seachem Company. Stability is a great starter for your beneficial bacteria and can also be used to clear some of the bacterial bloom in your tank. It's not recommended to use Stability with Clarity because it can exacerbate the cloudiness in your tank. I normally add this after a water change, filter media change, and adding new frogs to the tank. Pristine from the Seachem Company. I use Pristine once every 2 weeks to build up the bacterial colonies in my filter. It can take up to 3 days for the bacteria to build. If you're using fluorescent lighting, keep the lights off for about 3 days for best results. This is an organic solution used to break down food and other waste products in your tank. It contains bacteria that assists the beneficial bacteria in stability to keep your tank running efficiently with clearer water. Limnezyme is a great product to use because it keeps harmful bacteria in really low levels, therefore preventing red leg disease and other bacterial infections. This is dosed weekly in the tank after following the instructions provided for the first time use. Limnezyme can be stored at room temperature and will expire after 2 years, so make sure to make note of the date on the bottle. MaricynII from Frtiz Aquatics. I recently used MaricynII in my tank to handle a potential bacterial event. There were other factors that occurred that I will discuss at the end of this video, along with some tips to prevent the same occurrence from happening to you. Maricin kills gram-negative bacteria known for causing red leg disease and gram-positive bacteria known for causing staph. By the 5th day, it was apparent that all the bacteria in the tank was gone, as after normalization there was an enormous amount of bacterial bloom when I reintroduced beneficial bacteria into the tank. I had never used this medication before as I feared that it would hurt my frogs. However, I did see it as a suitable medication on the Xenopus Express webpage, and the medication did say that it was safe to use on invertebrates as well as scaleless fish. I was happy to see that dosing as instructed did produce the desired effect. Food consumption aids. Garlic Guard from the Seachem Company. Sometimes when introducing a new non-live food to a frog, they will not eat it. Some frogs are just finicky eaters, or if you have a frog that may be quarantined, ill, and not eating, this can help. I will say that it smells like really bad garlic breath, so if that kind of smell makes you nauseated, Try to keep from breathing it in. Place a small amount into a small disposable shot glass and add a few pellets to it. Let the pellets soak for about a minute and then introduce them to your tank. Most frogs will not be able to resist it and will eat the pellets. When I was caring for Leafy while she was sick, she was not eating, and it worked immediately. A bonus benefit is that Garlic Guard has the active ingredient in garlic called allicin, which has been proven to have health-promoting benefits. Allicin possesses a strong antioxidant property that promotes enhanced health through elimination of dangerous free radicals. Now that you have a list of safe treatments to use, as well as knowledge on what they do, you can handle almost any situation in a pinch. Now, to an update on my tank. As you already know, I had an extreme shedding event occur recently. I thought about so many scenarios it could be except for one. One of the awesomest, knowledgeable people over at Xenopus Express said that he saw my video and the only time he witnessed an event like that was when bleach was involved. That puts something into perspective I never considered. When I vacuum my tank, there are times when I have to remove tank decorations to get better access to the waste I'm trying to remove. There is a counter that I use in my kitchen to place the decor on. I always clean my kitchen counters meticulously, and I now am starting to think that traces of the cleaner I use may have gotten onto the decorations when I put them back. I could have missed a spot that still had cleaner on it while wiping the counters down, and the wetness from the decorations could have allowed the cleaner residue to bond to the surface of the decoration without me even knowing. Some changes in my practices will be to laying towels down on the surface I place my tank decor on after rinsing. Keep all cleaning materials out of my work area. Take a slower time in washing my hands to make sure any soap I have used is completely rinsed off, and also to pay attention to the gloves I use when I'm cleaning my tank by ensuring that they did not come in contact with anything that can compromise my water conditions. I know this goes without mentioning because it's not something I practice myself, but I will say it anyway because there may be people that do this. Never wash your tank decor or your tank with cleaners. Using a brush and water for stubborn cleaning should suffice. I would like to end this video by thanking those who reached out to me during my difficult situation, and thanking everyone who engages with my content by commenting, liking, subscribing to wherever I post. Our beautiful, chunky, friendly, happy frogs can be viewed here on this YouTube channel, TikTok, and Instagram. We also have a MeWe page for those of you on that platform. Links to where you can find the items discussed in today's video will be in the description. Until next time, have a frogtastic day.